When an AI-driven company is trading at less than $1, most investors tend to scroll right past it. But today's opportunity isn't obvious, and that's exactly why it matters. Imagine a company whose technology quietly supports the backbone of future computing, where machine learning, cloud systems, and next-generation processors all depend on faster and more efficient hardware. While the broader market focuses on hype or mega-cap names, there are tiny firms building the infrastructure that makes those lofty visions possible. This stock sits at the intersection of advanced technology and practical application, and its current valuation barely reflects the role it could play in shaping the future of computing. The reason this topic matters right now is that the semiconductor industry and AI hardware markets are under unprecedented pressure to innovate. Massive capital is flowing into solutions that can overcome the bottlenecks of traditional chip design. When investors see names like NVIDIA or AMD in the headlines, they seldom think about the specialized companies working behind the scenes to support the ecosystem. But those behind-the-scenes companies sometimes hold more asymmetric potential because they're not priced for perfection yet. Behavioral psychology in the market tells us that while headlines drive quick clicks, deep structural changes in technology require deep thinking, and that's what we're going to explore. Across the broader landscape of technology, the need for smarter, faster, and more energy-efficient chips is reshaping how hardware companies invest, design, and manufacture. The rise of artificial intelligence, edge computing, autonomous systems, and ever larger data centers has pushed demand for chips beyond anything seen before. Even legacy players find themselves challenged to keep up with specialized demands because modern applications require chips that are not only powerful but also optimized for specific tasks. This has opened the door for companies with niche technologies that can accelerate AI inference, improve signal processing, or reduce energy consumption without sacrificing throughput. It's an industry stretching from conventional semiconductors to new architectures that support machine learning workloads, and it's bigger than most casual observers realize. Within this environment, there are companies focused not on consumer gadgets, but on the building blocks that allow advanced systems to perform at scale. These firms might work on improving design algorithms, optimizing manufacturing processes, or creating next-generation materials that change how chips are structured at the microscopic level. The practical challenge many companies face is balancing speed, power efficiency, and cost, and it's exactly this balance that determines whether a chip design becomes widely adopted or quickly discarded. Investors who overlook these specialized niches often miss out on the early growth phase of what eventually becomes standard practice in chip design and production. Now consider a company that has its roots in solving one of these fundamental problems. Rather than simply riding the wave of hype around AI or machine learning, it focuses on the hardware mechanisms that allow AI systems to function better. This means finding ways to enhance signal processing, streamline instruction execution, or reduce the latency between computational tasks. Such improvements might seem subtle to the casual observer, but at scale, they translate into meaningful competitive advantages for customers implementing complex AI applications. Companies operating at the intersection of semiconductor innovation and AI demand are essentially enabling a future where hardware no longer limits algorithmic ambition. Demand within the industry follows real needs. Enterprises and technology integrators are willing to pay for solutions that demonstrate measurable performance improvements because the cost of inefficient hardware is far greater than the price of innovation. Pilot programs, research partnerships, and early-stage commercial trials often lead to long-term contracts once the benefits are proven. And while these developments may not make mainstream headlines, the professionals in charge of large AI deployments pay close attention to them because every cycle of improvement reduces operational costs and expands capability. From accelerating deep learning models to enabling real-time inference in autonomous systems, the ripple effects of these technologies are broad. After several minutes of context and industry framing, let's talk specifically about the company you're here to learn about. The business behind this story is called Paraiso Inc., and it trades under the ticker symbol PRSO. At the time of recording, its stock price sits around 89 cents. What makes Paraiso interesting is not just its price tag, but the space it operates in, a space that ties directly into the future of computing hardware and specialized signal processing that supports advanced AI workloads. Instead of being anchored to a single narrow application, the technology it's developing has implications across multiple high-demand areas, from telecommunications to edge computing, and increasingly in AI acceleration. If you enjoy these deep dives and want to discover the next potential multi-bagger technology opportunity before the broader market catches on, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. This channel breaks down complex technological and market trends in a way that's easy to understand, with a focus on companies that may not yet be in the spotlight but could play key roles in the future of their industries. Despite this potential, the stock remains priced like a deeply undervalued small cap. The reason for this apparent disconnect is fairly common among emerging technology companies. Smaller firms often suffer from low visibility, minimal analyst coverage, and limited institutional ownership, which means the market can overlook them for extended periods. Additionally, investors tend to gravitate toward well-known names, especially during times of volatility, rather than digging into specialized technologies whose benefits are incremental but foundational. When you combine low awareness with early-stage adoption cycles, the result is a valuation that appears disconnected from long-term potential, and that can create opportunity for investors willing to think differently. Looking ahead, there are several catalysts that could begin to shift market perception. Continued advancements in AI chip architectures, broader adoption of edge computing solutions, and strategic partnerships within the semiconductor ecosystem could provide avenues for growth. If Paraso's technology proves scalable and demonstrates measurable performance gains in real-world applications, that could attract more attention from both customers and larger technology partners. Licensing agreements, integration into commercial platforms, or even acquisition interest from larger players are all realistic developments for companies with unique intellectual property in this space. These potential catalysts are not guarantees but illustrate why the company remains on the radar of those tracking AI infrastructure trends. Of course, it's important to acknowledge the risks involved. Investing in early-stage technology companies, particularly those trading under $1, comes with significant volatility and uncertainty. Technological competition is fierce, development timelines can stretch longer than expected, and market adoption does not always follow a linear path. Investors should approach these kinds of stories with a clear understanding that prices can fluctuate widely and that speculative elements remain part of the equation. Education and informed research are essential, not just watching prices but understanding the technology, the industry context, and the real-world applicability of what the company offers. In reviewing the story of this 89-cent AI stock, it becomes clear that the narrative isn't about a quick trade or short-term price move. It's about recognizing where the structural changes in technology are heading and identifying companies that serve as building blocks for those changes. Paraso Inc., with its focus on advanced hardware support for AI and computing workloads, represents exactly that kind of building block. Observing how companies like this evolve and integrate into larger systems may offer clues not only about stock performance, but also about the direction of the broader technology landscape. As we wrap up, remember that strong investing insights come from understanding the full picture, the trends driving demand, the technology enabling performance, and the market forces determining valuation. Taking an educational approach to these opportunities provides a foundation that extends far beyond any single stock, helping you make better decisions in an ever-changing market environment. What looks quietly promising today may become widely recognized tomorrow, and being prepared with context and clarity can make all the difference.